Hey, what's up everybody? We're doing a live core and glute workout today with a stability ball. So for your stability ball, what we're going to do is start lying on your back. All you need is 10 minutes, 45 seconds of work with 15 seconds of rest in between each sets. We're gonna do 10 different exercises. Lying on your back, I do have a mat here. You might wanna use a mat as well. We're gonna get started with 45 seconds of glute bridges.
Starting session.
Starting in 5, feet on top of the ball, back flat, just lift and lower your hips. And here you wanna make sure that you are pulling your pelvic floor in and up, and then driving your hips straight up towards the ceiling. Now, I do have a wall behind me. You could pin this ball against the wall if that works better. I have had clients in the past where maybe if the glutes aren't firing well, maybe the calves are taking over and you feel cramps in your calves. So another option would be to put your feet on the ground and just do a straight glute bridge. And I'm not even bothering to squeeze the ball, right? Just a straight glute bridge, lift and lower. But the ball does add that instability. 5 seconds more here. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Next exercise,
Rest.
We're going to do a ball exchange. So we're going to flatten the back. We're going to pick the ball up, reach overhead. I'm tapping my feet to the ground, but I'm keeping my back flat, okay? It's really important. All right, ball exchange.
Work.
So I'm just bringing the ball up, reaching overhead, tapping it down. And I could add a crunch to this, where I'm doing an upper body crunch, and then reaching overhead as well. But the back stays flat the entire time, okay? So if your neck starts to get tired, you could leave your head on the ground and not lift your head. All right, and then we're coming back to feet on top of the ball.
Rest.
So for the next exercise, we're going to lift our hips, roll the ball out, and then roll it back in. Okay, just a nice little hamstring curl squeezing through the glutes. All right, here we go. So remember, it's a 45-second set with 15 seconds in between. So I'm using my glutes, my core, my hamstrings, all of the good things. Keeping those hips elevated as you slowly roll back out. Driving the hips up as you roll the legs out. 10 seconds. This one's challenging. Woo! Definitely can get a good workout in with the stability ball. All right, nice job. This time we're going to go feet over the top of the ball, and I'm going to use my heels to dig into the ball. And then keeping the head on the ground at first, lift your hips up if you can, okay? If you cannot lift your hips, you're simply going to drive your heels into the ball like this. And then we're going to add the upper crunch as well. So I'm either just doing a crunch and digging my heels into the floor or into the ball and driving the ball into my hamstring, flattening the back. That really works your core. You could also add, like I said, the lift. So if you're lifting the ball, it really helps flatten out your back and drive through the lower abs. So you have options. Sometimes people will say, oh, my neck gets tired. Then leave your head on the ground or grab a hand towel, wrap it around the base of your skull and just help push your head back into the towel in order to relax your neck.
Rest.
I have more tips on that if you like. Just be sure and reach out. Okay, next up, crunches. So we're gonna sit on top of the ball. And with this one, you're gonna drop your hips down a little bit and stretch down a lot, come up a little. And here we wanna make sure that as you're crunching, that your hips are staying in one place. Okay, the ball is not moving. If you're doing crunches and the ball is moving, your legs are what are moving the ball, right? So your legs are doing more of the work than the core. So here we're just gonna make sure we're focused on a nice little stretch back The higher your hips are on the ball, like if I drive back further, the more upside down I get, the harder it is, right, on the core. So if I want to make it easier, if I need to make it easier, I would drop my hips down lower. All right, that's 45 seconds of crunches.
Rest.
Now we're going to switch over to the crossover crunch. And with that one, it's going to be very similar to the regular crunch. We're just going to be using our obliques a little bit more. Stretch back a lot, come up a little.
Work.
And here, if you have a small, like child-sized ball or a bender ball, you could also be squeezing that ball between your knees. What that does is it helps turn on the inner thigh and the pelvic floor and the lower transverse abdominis. And if you don't have a ball, you could just imagine you do. So like I said, a ball between the knees, a weightless ball, will help turn on your lower abs and your transverse and your adductors. Excellent. All right, switching over to some glute work here. We're gonna do reverse hypers, okay? On this one, you're gonna put a lot of weight into your hands. Let's see if I can turn just a little bit so you can see well. A lot of weight into your hands to where your feet are floating. Squeeze your ankles together, and you're just gonna do a little lift through the hamstring and glute area. Notice I'm not changing my low back. I'm not trying to do this with my low back. It's all hammies and glutes. Squeeze your ankles together. You'll feel it for sure if you're squeezing those ankles together. How your adductors, your glutes, and your hamstrings can all work together. It's just a very tiny movement. So this is like a reverse hyperextension. We'll be doing the hypers here in a moment. We're almost there. Can you believe it only takes 10 minutes to get this core working? And now we're gonna pause. Similar movement, but we're gonna do it's called frog, okay? So you're gonna open up your inner thighs, squeeze the bottoms of your feet together. Same movement as before, except now with the hips open, you're gonna feel it on the outer side of your glute now. So reverse hyper, I just call them frogs because you're making a little frog leg here. Squeeze, press your feet together and really squeeze through the glute. Making sure there's no change of the low back, just through the hamstrings and the glutes. Woo, big burn. Breathing through it. We only have one exercise left after this. You're doing it, you've got it. 10 seconds. 2, 1, and then the last one is a reverse, or is just a hyperextension. So here you can put your knees on the ground if you like, just gently, and you're gonna come down like you're almost gonna kiss the ball. All right, you're gonna really allow a stretch on the low back. Then we're just gonna come up and squeeze and drive the elbows back towards the tailbone. Keeping the core nice and strong here. I'm going to show you a modification for this. If you don't like something pushing against your belly, especially if you have like acid reflux, so you can do those hypers with the ball, or you can practice bird dog. Opposite arm, opposite leg, and stabilizing through your core. So when I raise one arm, one leg, I keep the hip pointed down toward the ground. And then you can just do an exchange that way and really focus on squeezing through the glutes. Both are excellent exercises. I hope these are helpful to you. Let's sit back and stretch it out. Reaching the hands up overhead, toes together, knees apart, into child's pose position. I like to have you shift your hips side to side for that stretch. Stop my timer.
Stopping session.
Nice little stretch there. And then I'm going to show you a few stretches on the stability ball that I like. So with this, we're going to put hands on top of the ball. We're going to thread the needle, dropping one shoulder over. So left arm comes through, right arm is on top of the ball. Deep breath, inhale. Nice slow exhale. One more time. switching sides. Deep breath, inhale. Slow exhale. Again. Great, now we're gonna have a seat on top of the ball and open up through the chest. And here we're just gonna do a back bend, okay? So just opening up your chest and allowing for your hips to drop toward the ground and your hands to drop toward the ground simultaneously, just opening up your chest. And then I like to do what's called a snow angel, where you take your arms down towards your hips and then reach overhead, like you're making snow angels. Relaxing your neck, so you're not picking your head up. You're just allowing your head to rest gently on the ball. And this is a wonderful stretch that you can do. You know, if you keep a ball, if you work from home, if you keep a ball in the area near your desk, it's a great little break that you can take and just take a few minutes to stretch out. Last one we're gonna do is a hip stretch. And we're gonna cross one leg over and drop the hip down. Sitting in a little V sit here. Really opening up the hips, breathe, inhale. Nice slow exhale. Again. Switching sides. Yes, nice job today. All right, guys, we got it in. Nice quick workout. Thanks so much for joining. I'll see you next time.